What's going on, family? This is Inspired to be Great, and I am your host, Ron Miles. Hey, family, we're going to dive into our topic, but as always, I want to thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Thank you for coming out to our events. Thank you for just showing your love, reaching out to us on the Facebook fan page, Inspired to be Great. But most of all, thank you for actually downloading and taking time to listen to the podcast, going on iTunes, going on Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Blueberry Radio, whichever one that you decide to listen on. I want to sincerely thank you, because without you, there's no podcast, there's no me, and there's no way I can have the opportunity to help as many people that I've been able to help. But with that being said, family, today's topic, it actually came up in one of my focus groups, mastermind groups, whichever one you want to call it. And it was talking about expectation. What is your expectation? Or what is your strong belief that something will happen or the case or be the case in the future? What is it? What's the expectation that you have, not only for your life, but for your family, for your health, for your business? What is each thing that I've come to notice as I've traveled this road called life so far in business, I have to have an expected end. I have to have something already pictured, envisioned in my mind of what I want or how I want things to end. Does it always end that way? No, but usually it's very close. It's very similar. Why doesn't it always end that way? Because things happen along the way. Things happen along the road throughout the process of getting there. But it's that expected end that's in my mind, that expected outcome, that vision, that picture, that goal, that dream that I see not only myself, but also my family, my friends at a certain level as well. It's that there that drives me and keeps me going. And the one thing I come to realize is that most people don't have an expected end. Yeah, they know they want to be rich or they want to own houses and real estate, but they don't actually expect to see it. It's just something nice for them to say. It's just something nice. You know, when people ask you, well, what do you want to do? You say, oh, I want to play basketball. Oh, I want to be a lawyer. Oh, I want to be a doctor. But do you actually see the expected end? Or is it just something that's good to say because it sounds good for the moment? See, most people say, when you hear people say, oh, I'm going to college. Well, I tell my kids all the time, no, you're not going to college. Anybody can go to college. What's the expected end from you going to college? Where do you see yourself at when you're in college? What groups do you see yourself being a part of? What degree do you see yourself having? What GPA average do you see yourself having? I mean, these are things that you need to have detailed. You need to have an expected outcome, an expected end, an expected vision, an expected goal, an expected dream. You need to have expectations on everything. Why? Because if you don't have a certain level of expectations, you won't have a certain level of requirements or standards, which means you will allow yourself to fluctuate and do some things halfway, some things all the way, some things moderately. You'll cheat yourself in the end without an expected outcome. Yes, I can say I wanted to become a basketball player or a football player. That's great. That's great. There's nothing wrong with me saying that. Yes, that's something I want to become, but I could become one and only ride the bench. I could do just enough to get there and say I made it but got cut. And I could say, well, I reached my goal. No. What exactly is your goal? Is your goal to become one of the greatest players to ever live? Is your goal to become one of the best real estate developers and owners that ever live? Is your goal to become one of the best artists that ever live? Is your goal to become one of the best businessmen or women that ever live? See, when you have an expected end, you won't have satisfaction until you get there. See, the thing I learned most about talking to people who are trying to reach something, their goal was just to reach it. So they're satisfied. Their goal wasn't to go any further. I got where I wanted to get to. I'm good. But see, you have to have an expected end. You can't just getting there shouldn't be your point of satisfaction. It's getting there, maintaining your place there, or exceeding and going above where you reach. Why? Because once I reach a certain place and a certain end and a certain outcome, that I wanted to, then my goal is say, well, I got here. It's kind of like in college. Okay, I got my associates. Well, since I'm here, I might as well get my bachelor's. Well, I got my bachelor's. Well, it's only take this much to get my well, I'm going for my master's. Well, I got my master's. Well, I need to get, it's only this to get my PhD. I'm going for, see, it's every time you reach an expected end to your goal, your vision, your dreams, it should add to. And it should propel you to say, well, it only takes a little bit longer to get this. Once you get your PhD, well, what's next? Well, I guess I need to go for the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, it's so many different things that you can get to. So don't see, the problem, like I said before, that I realized when talking with people, when going over their dreams, their goals, their visions, when talking about an expected end, an expected outcome, the one thing I realized more than anything with people is that they're satisfied with just reaching it. Or some, they have an expected end, they have an expected outcome, but then they start calculating the costs. That's key. That's key. That's a nugget, family. Too many times people calculate the cost of what it's going to take for them to get to their expected end, and they quit. They quit. Why? Because they don't want it to take as much. But see, you have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to give up the sleep. You have to be willing to give up the friends. You have to be willing to give up the going out, give up the partying, give up the games, give up the TV, give up things to get to your expected end. It's not just going to be handed to you. And if it is handed to you, 9 times out of 10, you end up losing it. Why? Because you don't understand the process it took to get there. You don't understand the process it takes to maintain it. See, so having an expected end is crucial. A detailed expected end, not just, oh, I want to get there. Oh, I just want to become a real estate agent. Oh, I just want to become a business owner. Well, what type of business owner? Where exactly do you want your business to be located? See, most of the problems that I realize with people is that they don't have a detailed plan. Their goals aren't detailed. They're just there. It's just something that you've written down. But see, when you understand what you're expected and what your expectation is, what your strong beliefs are, what your future is that you see for yourself, for your family, for your friends, when you understand that, things become more detailed to you. And the more detailed it is, the more clear the picture becomes, and the more easier it is to walk step by step. See, this thing really isn't hard. Does it have tough times? Of course it does. Does it have times that makes you want to quit, makes you want to give up? Of course it do. But see, when you have a detailed plan that you can see, that you can really visualize, that you can really feel like you can grab hold of it and hug it and squeeze it at night, it keeps you going. It wakes you up when you're sleeping too much. It gives you the drive to go through each and every day. Why? Because you understand I'm getting closer to my expected end. I'm seeing the houses come up. I'm seeing the bank accounts change. I'm seeing the lives being touched. I'm seeing these things. See, any great person had a great vision that included other people, and they can see what was changing because of what their outcome was, or what their expected end was, what the expectation from the beginning was. Yes, does things change throughout the pattern, throughout the time? Of course it does. Things change. Things happen. Some people stay in your life. Some people go. Some people do things to you. Some people come in that helps you and help maintain and change things. You have to be willing to let go of things. You have to be willing to take in new people. Most people say, well, I keep my circle close and tight, and that's all fine and well. Why? Because I don't believe having a lot of people in there. I also talk to my kids a lot about quit calling everybody your friend. Some people are just there as associates. Some people are just there through seasons. I have only a few actual friends. Don't get me wrong. I consider a lot of people my friend, but I have a few actual friends. You hear, I put the emphasis on friends. They're my friends. Those people who've been there through thick and thin. Those people who, no matter what, even though we may be on different planes in life, we may have different mindsets. Our visions may be different. Our expectations for ourselves and for our kids may be different. Even though we may have some differences, That's still my friend. That's still somebody who I can trust, who I know is going to give it to me 100% every single time. They're going to be honest. They're going to tell me where they feel like I'm screwing up at, where they feel like I'm going wrong at, or what they feel is my next step. But I also have a lot of close business friends who will help evaluate my business, who will tell me what marketing I need to do, what type of branding I need to do, what things I need to add to, what things I need to take away, what should I be focused on, what shouldn't I be focused on, how should I set up my next training session, how you have different people for different areas of life for you. Why? Because they all bring a different part of it to you that adds to you, that helps make you better than who you are. But the only way to have that is to see that along the way, to start picking things out and having that expected in. I tell people all the time, yes, write down your vision, write down your goals. You write them down, why? As reminders to yourself, putting them on sticky notes, making a voice recording of the things you want out of life. But make sure the plan itself that's in your master book is detailed, not just tomorrow I'm going to walk. Check. Well, where are you going to walk? How are you going to walk? Is it going to be a fast-paced walk? Is it going to be a slow-paced walk? Is it going to be on an incline hill? Is it going to be on a decline hill? Or is it going to be on a level surface? Have it detailed. Why? Because the results change depending on how you walk. You walk on an incline, your calf muscles is going to be a little stronger. Your core is going to work a little more. The sweat is going to come a little harder. You have it on a decline, your back muscles is going to get a little more tighter because you're bracing your core a little bit more to balance yourself from not going forward. Or if you're walking just on a leveling field or a level ground, everything is still the same. Nothing really is being challenged. Nothing is really being pushed and pulled against. So everything maintains the same. Yes, you still may end up losing weight. Yes, you may sweat. Yes, you will burn calories, but you won't burn it at the same pace. Why? That's why they have certain things as they call intense interval training, where you train hard for a minute or two, really hard, and then you back off, relax for 30 to 45 seconds. Then you go back and you train hard. Why? Because the intensity changes the results, and the time frame is either quicker or slower depending on the intense level. So when I tell you, family, when I talk about having an expected end, when I talk about having a plan detailed, it's for those reasons. You can have a goal of just walking. Anybody can just go walk. But what's the expected end? What's the outcome that you want from your walking? Just like I tell people, yes, you could have a dream of owning your own business, and you may even know the type. I want it to be a hair salon. Well, what's the expected end of the hair salon? What's the goal? What's the average income you want to bring in? Why? Because if you know these things, you understand the next steps of what you have to do to obtain those goals, family. See, this is just not having something on paper and just saying, oh, I believe this is going to happen. It's steps, it's levels, it's a process to getting to your expected outcome. So if your expected outcome is just to own a hair salon, you could start that up in your kitchen today. You could call it whatever you want. You can go down to the state treasury, or is it treasury? Treasury board, I believe, and have it pay the little fee, whatever it is in your county or in your state, to have your business registered. And do it right out your house. Now, will it be state board qualified? Will the board say it's legit? Will you be licensed through the board? Probably not. But what I'm saying is anybody can say and have whatever they want. That's simple. That's easy. But to get to a certain level, to achieve a certain level of greatness, you have to have a detailed expected end, a detailed expected outcome. So I ask you, family, what are your expectations? What is it that you really want out of life? What is it that you really need out of life? And how exactly will you get there? Like I said, my expectation is for all my kids to maintain a 4.0. But I can tell them this is the expectation in my household. You get a 4.0. But if I don't work with them to show them and map out a plan of how they can maintain and achieve a 4.0, it's totally different. See, the goal is the 4.0, but the expectation is a 4.0. but the expected outcome. How do we get here? What do we want because of a 4.0? Well, we want you to have a 4.0 so you can get scholarships to colleges so it don't cost me. But no, seriously, you want them to get scholarships. You want them to feel like they achieved something on their own, that they put in the time, the work to get to a certain level. So we want the scholarships. Why do we want the scholarships? Because whatever your true goal or vision is, it has a price to it. It has a cost to it, not only monetarily, but physically, emotionally. It has a cost. Why? Because once you understand, okay, yeah, for me to get this degree, it's going to cost $60,000 to $70,000. Whew. You take that breath. Okay, that's going to cost. So I understand the monetary cost, but what else is it going to cost? It's going to cost my time in hitting these books. It's going to cost my effort and possibly losing sleep up late studying at night for big exams. It's going to cost me to learn how to become a better writer. It's going to cost more than just the money to get to your expected outcome and goal. See, everything has a step and a goal, and then it has a next level. So the original goal was, let's maintain a 4.0 throughout your school. Okay, so that was the original expectation. Why was that the expectation? Because we understand that if you keep this expectation, it's going to lead to scholarships. Then once we lead to scholarships, we understand what we want to do with that scholarship that we get, and we start to understand the cost of it. But at the end of the day, you already built up habits of sacrifice. Yeah, I can settle for a B on this test and halfway study and still make it to go out to the party. Or I could skip the party, really pack in the knowledge and understanding that I need to maintain this A. See, it's a different level of sacrifice when you know your expected outcome. When you have a detailed map of what you're going to have to give up to get to your expected end. And yeah, at the time, it's going to feel like it's the hugest sacrifice in the world. It's going to feel like you lost everything. You needed that. I really had to do it. But once you reach your expected end, your expected outcome, you're going to realize that was really minute. It's easy to give up that stuff now. Why? Because I have a greater goal, a greater vision. I have an expected end to my life. I have an expected end to what I'm trying to achieve. I have an expected end and outcome for my expectation. So yes, what is your expectation? Know your expectation, know your goal, know your vision, know your dream, but also on top of knowing what your expectation is, know the expected outcome because of the expectation. The expectation may be to be in the Forbes 500 or Fortune 500 every year for your business. That could be the expectation. Our expectation is to reach the Fortune 500. But how did you get there? You got to have a detailed plan to get there. And what's going to be the outcome because of you reaching it? The outcome, the business is known more clients, better resources. Different things happen because of the expectation that you set upon yourself. So understanding that expectation and outcome goes together. You can't have one without the other, but you got to know your outcome to reach your expectation. You got to know if your expectation, like I said, is just to make the NFL or just to make the NBA or hockey or baseball. If your outcome is just to make it, your expectation levels will be low. Well, I expect myself to practice only 1 hour a day. I expect myself to be a team player. I expect myself to. You're gonna just do the basic minimums to reach your outcome. But if your outcome is for you to be known as one of the greatest, then I know I'm going to have to practice at least 4 hours a day. I'm going to have to give up that. I'm going to have to study film for probably 2 hours a day. I'm going to have to probably cut out my sleep a little bit because I need to make sure I'm up and I'm physically fit to do what I need to do to reach my expected outcome. So understanding your expectation, but knowing the outcome is key. With that being said, family, this has been another great edition of Inspired to be Great. Be sure to log in, click the follow, subscribe to us, join in on the conversation. But more importantly, leave a review and a rating. Let us know what you think. We want to hear back from you. Why? Because you are important. Your needs are important. Your wants. What do you want to talk about? Maybe you want to be a part of the show. Whatever it is, just reach out to me. Let's talk. With that being said, family, remember, greatness only happens when you make good the enemy of great. I'll talk to you later.